In the perplexing whirlwind that is Tristan Tzara's Dada Manifesto, Tzara emphatically employs the notorious Dada strategy of continuous contradiction. He openly opposes logic, principles, and manifestos themselves. In doing so, what he has written is, in fact, an anti-manifesto manifesto. What can this even mean? Well, to understand the mind of a Dadaist, we have to first take a step back and reflect on what it means, or doesn't mean, to have been affiliated with the Zurich Dada movement, who Tristan Tzara was, and then deeply analyze the manifesto. As the name suggests, the Zurich Dada movement originated in Zurich, Switzerland in 1916. The sentiments were typically anti-bourgeois, and often works stimulated intellectual questions about the purposes of society and art, or artists. The group's vehement opposition to the bourgeois and organized structure meant that it was barely even in favor of itself. Dada is anti-Dada was a common, shared rationale. The introduction of chance in art allowed Dadaists to challenge artistic norms in their existential questioning. In many ways, in tandem with Hugo Ball, Tristan Tzara is often recognized as the founder of Dada. He popularized a particular artistic style, which he called cut-ups, that involved cutting out parts of images or text and reconstructing them to create new meaning. He worked hard to spread Dada, which we can see from him having published this manifesto as well as his formulation of the Dada Globe, in which he intended to catalog and share Dada worldwide. Tzara's 5-page Dada Manifesto was written in 1918, not to be confused with Hugo Ball's prior 1916 edition, after Ball relinquished his leadership of the movement to Tzara. Now, we could argue over which manifesto of the two is most correct or in line with Dada ideologies. However, this video essay will only be analyzing Tzara's edition, as it was received and aggrandized as the great gospel of Dada. Upon first look of the manifesto, we can see a vast variety of diction. The tone is hard to pinpoint, as religious references, crass remarks, and both scientific and philosophical terminology smother the page. There are allegorical references and completely original phrases that are intentionally jarring, which can only be deciphered through contextual analysis. Take Crystal Bluff Madonna, for example, which, given the context, we can only assume is in reference to some other form of deplorable false comforts that manifesto writers use to impose their wants, or ABCs. Tzara's diverse vocabulary allows for an impressive illustrative depth, creating a vivid visual landscape for the viewer. My favorite line is, "The authority of the mystic wand, formulated as the bouquet of phantom orchestra made up of silent fiddle bows, greased with filters made of chicken manure." The style is a sort of disorganized organization. Tzara begins with a chaotic, free rant, but his thoughts are then tamed and categorized under headlines by topic. The text travels in and out of rhythmic fluidity, particularly evident in the section, "If I cry out, ideal, 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 knowledge, 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 boom, 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 boom. I have given a pretty faithful version of progress, law, morality, and other fine qualities that various highly intelligent men have discussed in so many books, only to conclude that after all, everyone dances to his own personal boom boom." This section is a great example of the profound gravity that Tzara maneuvers through rhythmic competence and simple word choice, completely free from verbosity. His message is clear. All organized intellectual properties that are preached from the mouths of reliable sources are just that, properties. Whether an individual adopts those properties or not is reliant completely on their own boom boom, or rhythm with which they dance through their own personal life. This tactic that he's employing here is one of radical individualism, asserting that any and all attempts to create an ideal or generalized knowledge is in vain, as individuals are free to believe their own beliefs, acquire their own knowledge, and act their own actions. In this first opening rant, Tzara sets us up with the appropriate mindset for understanding and sympathizing with his paradoxes. He states, "I write a manifesto and I want nothing. Yet I say certain things, and in principle I am against manifestos, as I am also against principles." Adding, "I write this manifesto to show that people can perform contrary actions together while taking one fresh gulp of air." To be against principle and common sense is an innate Dada quality. Through this manifesto, he's displaying that constant contradiction can be both meaningfully and meaninglessly achieved, and hence, Dada. Appropriately, he closes his introduction with, "I am neither for nor against, and I do not explain because I hate common sense." The rejection of common sense is ironically sensible, as it implies a socially accepted manner of thinking and conformity. Logic is always wrong, because it confines us to the natural, an incoherent convention that is, in fact, not universal or all-encompassing. He then explains the origin of the word Dada, citing many frivolous definitions from various languages: the tail of a holy cow in the Kru Negros community, both cube and mother in a specific region of Italy, Russian and Romanian for a hobby horse. Just as the style under which it characterizes, the name of Dada itself, too, is obscure and, well, meaningless. We then shift our focus towards the significance of art and beauty through the lens of Dada. A work of art should not be beauty in itself, for beauty is dead. It should be neither gay nor sad, neither light nor dark, to rejoice or torture the individual by serving him the cakes of sacred aureoles or the sweets of a vaulted race through the atmospheres. It is being argued that the purpose of art is one that transcends the need for beauty. It is one that can take the observer to other worlds of pleasure or torment. A work of art is never universally regarded as beautiful. There are always critics, but such criticism too is frivolous, as that only exists in subjectivity as well. He reconvenes on the topic of Dada's origin, and so Dada was born of a need for independence, of a distrust towards unity. Those who are with us preserve their freedom. We recognize no theory. Tzara's salesman-esque pitch of Dadaism is enticing. It implies a community of free-spirited, open-minded individuals with no pressure to adhere to any religion, text, or ideology. Those with us preserve their freedom is almost like a call saying, "Join us, we will save you." It should come as no shock to you that the philosophical perspectives of Dadaists are obscure and contradictory. How we view life, God, and the idea are, as the manifesto states, no more important than the choice between cake and cherries after dinner. He urges that, even if all of them are right and if all pills are pink pills, let us try for once not to be right, implying that he was so strongly compelled that there is no ultimate truth that even if there were, consciously straying from it is a worthwhile endeavor. He continues, denouncing psychoanalysis, saying it's a dangerous disease as it neglects humans' anti-objective impulses, and systematizes, therefore strengthening, the bourgeois. The conversation draws back onto art, which Tzara proclaims is a selfish affair in which the artist desires to populate the world and consume it with their own conversation. He laughs in the face of artists, retorting that they rejoice at stifling criticism because it proves their inability to change. As we recall from earlier, criticism is denounced. Here too, praise is denounced. He equates it to piss contributing to the warmth of an animal brooding vile instincts. He then elaborates on his aversion to logic. Art, married with logic, stifles independence, he states. All strifes, slavery, hardship, and war, are attributed to humanity's lifelong desire to have control over morality and logic. This takes a radical nihilist turn, as abolition of all systems is called in the name of Dada. Every object, all objects, abolition of memory, abolition of prophets, abolition of the future, Dada, Dada, Dada. The manifest ends with freedom, Dada, 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 a roaring of tense colors and interlacing of opposites and of all contradictions, grotesque inconsistencies, life. Dr. Charles Kramer and Dr. Kim Grant, two professors of art history in the New England area, recently collaborated and published their own personal analysis of the Dada Manifesto. I believe that their closing remarks are an eloquent and concise way to conclude our own analysis. Dada is nonsense, but very carefully produced nonsense, targeted at very specific effects, to mirror the senselessness of the universe, to shake the reader-viewer out of their seductive but false systems of belief, and to encourage us to dance to our own personal boom.